I'm gonna try and get through this without crying, but this series of comments just made me tear up. You cannot convince me that the women who have the highest standards for dating have not been through hell and back and survived. And this comment is speaking to exactly that and exactly how I have ended up where I'm at today. And I was just thinking about this the other day because it made me very sad when I had this exact same revelation. You know, I used to meet these guys and I would get so excited at the possibility of something new every time, right? Like, especially going back to the list I was just talking about, especially if he had all the qualifications on the list, I would meet them and I would just be so excited. When you meet somebody who is attractive, who is coming correct initially, right, who meets all of your qualification, it ignites something in you and you turn into like a little girl. Like,
it's clear dating apps are the gift that keeps on giving. Modern women thought that these dating apps would bring them freedom and choice, allow them to pick the cream of the crop. They had so much confidence in the Java code of Hinge and Tinder that they burned the bridges of male approach. Once again, we see the dark humor of reality, as it has now become their prison. They have not only entrusted their future to the apps, but they've also become addicted to its presence. Well, wait a minute, that's bars right there. These apps have robbed them of their innocence, and feminist tears have substituted the twinkle in their eyes. You see, a woman can only be pumped and dumped so many times before she admits to herself that she is not valuable in the eyes of the men she wants. The struggle to believe that she is worth all the unchecked boxes on her imaginary list.
Here's some of my dating non-negotiables in no particular order. If you do any of these things, you are immediately cut off. Number one, if you're not generous, absolutely the F not, okay? Like, not generous. If you do not celebrate birthdays or holidays, I mean, like, I am really big on gift giving and celebrations of like any and every kind. So if you don't automatically come with like this embedded in you, we just would not mix. If you are a Capricorn, Gemini, Pisces, Aquarius, or a Virgo, then like women, y'all feel me.
While reality rejects her self-appraisal. Now, my brothers, I want you to listen to copium verbatim. Only then can you fully quiet the voice in your head that a future with such women is possible. We must either avoid such women completely or make a pact to rob them of their youth, time, and treat her tenderloin like a choro rental. So that any future simp that decides to play house with such a woman lay on condemned property. Yes, I know such talk sounds savage, but understand this is what pillage, plunder, or destroy and rebuild requires. Soil the grass, my brothers.
Like back in 7th grade when you had your first crush, right? Like you're all giggly and giddy. Okay, well, when that happens enough times and you experience disappointment enough times, well, that little light and that giddy feeling starts to dissipate over time. And I used to be so proud of myself that no matter how much disappointment I went through, I never lost that sense of excitement. I was always realistic and knew like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna turn into anything, but the initial excitement was always there. And I just loved that about myself. I felt like, you know what? We all have to go through the hell that is dating, so you might as well just be excited in the beginning phases because it's gonna fade. And I was amazed that no matter how much disappointment or heartbreak I experienced, I was able to keep that spark.
Here's the thing. If you're on dating apps, especially if you're speaking to women over 30, 3 out of the 5 women you meet will sound like her. She has gone through every emotion and every trick in the book. Unless she is very, very attracted to you, most likely she's gonna make you pay for all of the men before that used her for sex. That means a bunch of questions that have no right answer, an obstacle course of ish tests and red flag traps. She essentially is going on a date not to get to know you better, but to prove that all men are dogs. The only way to win with her is to lie, dodge, and double talk your way through the night. And obviously at that point, you probably just want to initiate betation without representation protocol to hedge your initial time and money investment. It's a dirty cycle, but these women are trapped in it.
Okay, well, this last dating experience that I had was the one that finally stomped out the spark. He was a narcissist, and I don't mean like, oh, he had narcissistic tendencies. Like, no, he was an absolute narcissist. And I don't know if y'all have ever experienced a narcissist. I mean a real narcissist, not somebody that is just full of themselves. Okay, well, he did a number on me.
Real narcissist. Listen, the 2025 definition of narcissist is a man that puts himself first. A man that has no patience for foolishness. A man that treats a woman based on how she acts and presents herself. An ex-girlfriend can give you no greater compliment than if she calls you a narcissist. Translation. That man stood on business.
I hate to admit that, and I hope he never sees this because I know that would give him like a little bit of joy in his heart. And I've talked about it a little bit on here, but I haven't even scratched the surface of some of the hell that I went through in that very short period of time, and some of the hell that I'm still processing as a result. But as I was saying in the last video, what this has resulted in is me no longer being able to be impressed by anything that a guy does or any attributes that a guy has other than consistent effort towards me.
So she says she will only entertain consistent effort from a man, aka a man that will chase her. What I find funny is that if you watch some of her other videos, she often brags about how nonchalant she is toward the men that she is dating. I mean, she literally brags about ghosting men and leaving dates, yet she expects you to chase her. And by now, you're starting to notice she plans to change nothing about herself, because only men and society are to blame for her failure in dating.
Failure! While I do believe that that experience has ruined my life in a multitude of ways, I also believe that it was the final straw in ever accepting an ounce less of what I deserve and an ounce less of what I want. It was the last time I will ever give anybody the benefit of the doubt. It is the last time that I will ever be overly patient or understanding, and is the last time that I will ever ignore any whiff of a potential beige flag that something may be a little bit off. And honestly, I think it takes an experience like that or repeated disappointment to an extreme extent to finally flip the switch in your head and be able to hold men accountable for what you really want.
Sweet, good move. Now, when are you gonna hold yourself accountable for being a better woman? What are you gonna do to make yourself worth it? Or are you gonna throw the same package back on the dating market and expect better results? Imagine this woman was the CEO of your company and she said, this year we're gonna hold these customers accountable. No patience for them. And this will increase our stock price. Blasphemous.
Now keep in mind, I'm somebody that's always had very, very, very high standards. I'm not somebody that overlooks a lot of things. But when you genuinely believe that most people are good, and when all you want is genuine companionship and somebody to share your life with, and that is a goal of yours, like marriage and kids is a goal, you're a lot more likely to accept a little bit lesser treatment of what you ultimately can get. So when I see these women who are like, I'm not dating you unless you bring a gift to the second date. You didn't show up to the first date with a $300 bouquet of flowers, and you didn't take me to Nobu, and you didn't do. It's because they've been through hell and back.
Been through hell and back.
There is no woman on this planet who woke up, became a woman, started dating, and came out the gate swinging with these as her requirements. Because at the end of the day, all any of us want is love and companionship and someone to treat us right. That's why when you look at people who get married as high school sweethearts, was their man doing all that stuff? No. Who are the women that have these standards? They're usually a little bit older. They have a lot going for themselves. And guess what? They have probably been through hell.
And brothers, who is the least valuable woman on the dating market? Yes, you guessed it. Older, bitter, independent women. She answered the question herself. So what have we learned? The least valuable women on the market have the highest standards. And that's why we have so many women hitting the wall like a crash test dummy. Okay, let me put this cockring glove down because I rest my case.
Then you get in these relationships and you wonder why, like, yeah, he's treating me right and he's making me happy, but like, why is this girl over here getting showered with gifts and presents and trips and XYZ? Like, I want that. That's because that woman is so broken.
She's crazy.
But wait a minute. You didn't smash the bell and press the like button. Blasphemous. And although you will never be worthy of a monarch such as myself, Lord Destro would suggest that you poor fools at least give oligarchy a try. So here, Lord Destro has spoken.